Yo. Welcome.
What's good?
It is the crossover. You know what we do. You know what we do.
And you
And
know who we are.
you know it. It's Carl Williams. You know I'm with the coach.
And Carla Harris, let's go.
Yes. Hey, I'm going to jump right into your heat real quick because I know them your boys. I'm going to jump into your heat first. I'm going to let you get that out first. Your boys did that thing last night.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We took a nice commanding 3-2 lead. We put our foot down last night. We get to host again with the ability to close out the series. So hey, let's go Heat. My Jimmy Buckets was doing his thing. So let's go Heat.
All right. All
Yeah.
right.
But all around, I felt like there was an all around effort. The team played well. I enjoyed watching them play.
Yeah, that was hitting on all cylinders. It was one thing I did like about what Jimmy Buckets did say at the end when he was doing his post game interview, and he was basically saying we shouldn't worry about hitting shots. We should
Oh,
always play our style of D. I think that was very big of him to say. That
yes,
shows a true leader right there.
true leader. And then it goes in the key with my boy Puckett. What's his name?
Oh,
That's his name.
PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker. I said PJ Tucker. That's my boy. Like I just posted about him the other day. Like every team needs a Tucker. Every team needs that type of. He's like the UD back in the day when UD was out there really just that grit, dirty, go get it. Dennis Rodman, just whatever I need to do for my team to win. And Tucker, shout out to him. If anybody, hey, shout out to Tucker. Love that dude. Hey, DJ Khaled was in there last night. Got the ball, pat the coach on the back. He was having the ball right on the front row. Yeah, it's a great atmosphere in Miami last night.
Yeah, something that the city's been craving for. You know what I'm saying? They had that great playoff run back in the day when we was getting to the finals every year because
Yeah.
the man was here. So it's good to be still in that position, man. I know the
Yeah, we
city
back in the running. We back in the running.
exactly. Hey, something spectacular kicked off this weekend too. The WNBA season is
The
underway.
ladies. Yes, the ladies are on the court. Ladies are on the court.
20,
Brittany
25
Griner.
seasons, man. 25 plus seasons. It's
Oh man,
96.
25.
Yeah,
So
the
what year was that when you played, T?
2004, 2004.
2004.
Yep.
So
So
we are in. That's
their
big.
inception season was 1996. I was a freshman in high school when the league was brought out because the ABL was there, but the WNBA ended up buying that out. So yeah,
That's big. Hey, and on top of that, we definitely got to pay homage to Brittany Griner. This is day 83, I believe, of her being detained over in Russia. And we're going to continue to send prayers and blessings out to her and her family. She missed some monumental events. Mother's Day, she missed her wife, I read, graduated from law school. So, yeah, she's missing some big things that can't be made up. So we're praying that she is safely returned home soon, really
yeah.
soon.
Which is another reason why I feel like number one, it's time for expansion of the league. Number two, we have to do something to where our female basketball players don't have to go overseas, that they can stay home and play here. I don't know if that's going to take expanding the season. That may be a little difficult, but it has to be something to where we can keep them home. Now, I'm not saying we have to forego overseas because we have a lot of talent that doesn't make it to the league and they have to go overseas. But and this is not a discredit to anyone, but your primetime players, I mean, they're your franchise players. You kind of want to protect them, and if they're overseas, your hands you can't do anything. They're under someone else's jurisdiction.
Right, and a lot of those ladies, and they make the bulk of their money overseas. Like they
Yep.
make way more money playing in those other countries than they do here. So if we can find a way to up those salaries, so they don't have to pull double duty. There, a lot of them are going right from that, transitioning right from there, right back home to America to play in the WNBA. So that's why you see a lot of players take that year off or take that break because they get that burnout because they
Yep.
don't get the opportunity to have that break. So I'm hoping something can be worked out to where we can up the salaries, we can, pay them justly to be able to just play here. But we'll see. We'll see.
Or endorsements. It may be a little
True.
difficult with salaries because you got to put butts in the seats. Number one, you got to put butts in the seats. But endorsement deals, the way that the world is set up now, technology, like I think we gotta capitalize on the YouTube monetization, the IG monetization, Facebook, TikTok, all of those platforms, free marketing, but utilize it for monetization. So if we can put those packages together, that'd be awesome. It will be interesting to see what happens in the upcoming years with these college kids getting the NIL agreements. How does that
I
affect
agree.
them going into their professional ranks when they get there? Because they're going to be coming in with money. Some of them are.
I agree. Definitely something to look at. I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, definitely can use that advertising money, that budget, to try to up the income for them. And then what are we going to do with these ladies and young men coming in with these endorsement deals already from the collegiate, which I love.
Yep,
Absolutely love them to be able to have their own monies, and not the universities making all the money off of them, off of their likeness. So we definitely, one, got to teach them financial literacy, but two, let's see how it's going to transition into those who make it to the league, and are those deals going to follow? Are they going to get bigger deals, or how that's going to work?
exactly, exactly. And let's bounce back to the NBA real quick. Memphis Grizzlies took a hit. John Morant will miss the remainder of the playoffs from things that I've read. It could be considered a major blow to them, or they have gone 20-5 without him. What's your take on that?
Man, that was a big, to me, that's a big hit. But we've seen them win without them. But now we're talking playoffs. It's one thing to win regular season games. We're talking playoffs when you need your gun, you need all your guns loaded. You don't need somebody out there with a Uzi, like Harlem Nights, and you going, you got to come out fully loaded, guns blazing. So I do feel like, and it showed. Dallas just wasn't clicking. So I'm sorry, Memphis wasn't clicking right, but it really shows. So I'm hoping that those guys can regroup, knowing that he's out, and then always next man up, next woman up. So hopefully Memphis can regroup and come out and play better together and get a W.
Yeah. And listen, they're playing against a championship caliber led team. You got Clay, you got Steph, you got Draymond, who have multiple championships already, have finals experience, know how to win, know what it takes. They're up against one of the Goliaths of the league. Whether you like it or not, like Golden State came, they conquered, and they're a force to be reckoned with. When the Splash Brothers are on, man, and then you got Jordan Poole coming in, it's like, yo, that's
Yeah.
wild, man.
They're on fire. Their wisdom, their experience in the game definitely supersedes Memphis being so young. So that's a huge thing to jump, a huge hurdle to get over. So hopefully, maybe, I don't have a dog in that fight. Whoever is next for my heat, that's what matters. But whatever dog is, in that fight, I wish them the best. I know I don't hate to see players get hurt. Nina, hey, shout out to Nina. Golden State is experienced and winners. They definitely are
Facts.
experienced and winners, and that experience does play a big role moving forward. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, and now there's been some controversy. There's been some controversy about the MVP of the league right now, back to back. Nikola Jokic has won the MVP battle again, and is he deserving of it? Hey, I'm just saying when LeBron had that phenomenal season, even though Golden State beat the Cavaliers, like his stat line was crazy, and he was in the finals, and he didn't win MVP of the league. And now we come back now, we got someone that got knocked out and won the MVP back to back. Like, is he the best player in the league? Is he better than Giannis? Is he better than Joel Embiid? Like, come on now.
I was shocked when I thought I read it wrong. I was like, did he win another award? He won the MVP. I was looking at the screen like, really, the MVP? But I mean, I'm not knocking him. Yeah, they call him a joke. No, I'm not knocking him. Like, no disrespect to him. This is just my personal opinion. I've watched him play. I think he's a great player, a great athlete. But I also the likes of the Giannis and Embiid. I really thought one of those guys may get it this year. I was definitely surprised to see him get it back to back.
I could tell you, for a big guy, he's skilled. He's skilled. He's strong. Like he's tough down there. Cause just even watching Draymond try to battle them, like it's a battle when you go to defend him. He
Mm-hmm.
knows how to use his body. Got a soft, nice touch. So I get it, but your Giannis and your Embiid's is a little more athletic. So I guess it's either you go with fundamentals or you go with the athletic flashiness.
But okay, let's say this: is the NBA being consistent in how they assessed? All right, Mikael, he's very consistent. He is, but is the NBA being consistent in how they assess the criteria of being the MVP? Like, does it have anything to do with the distance or how far or how well your team does, or is it strictly by your numbers only? Does it?
That's
What is
I
it?
think that's a great question. For years I felt like if the MVP, you should have the numbers, but a lot of times it does depend on your team's performance. A lot of people don't make it number one to Hall of Fames because your team didn't perform well, but your numbers state that. I'm going to be the biggest advocate of that only because I'm a victim of that. When it comes to college basketball, my numbers say one thing, but my team's performance says a different thing altogether. So, do
Yeah.
we go off of your numbers, your individual accolades, or do we go off your team's wins and losses?
I got it. I agree. I mean, me personally as a coach, I look at numbers. I look at the numbers of the players and see how they what they provide for the team, how they carry their team in terms of their output in the games day in and day out. I wouldn't just assess them by how far their team went, but it does matter to me if you're able to show and carry a team. I will say that I love LeBron. I do. He's one of my top players that I like, but I do know that he has won consistently with a cast. I haven't seen him win without a supporting cast per se. Um, that has something to do with too. Maybe we don't have to worry about how far you go in just your numbers, or we look at LeBron. He went far with some teams, but he had a really nice supporting cast.
He probably had the best cast in Miami. But in those Cleveland championship, I can't say he had a cast. Him and Kyrie,
Kevin
LeBron
Love,
last. Yeah, K Love is fine. He injury prone. Yeah, that I like Number one, we know who Anderson Varejao is because of LeBron. We know who Z is because of LeBron.
all right.
Well,
Look at it.
like this man done took
Who
some.
does we know who you love? We know.
Hey, you know who Craig Hodges is because of Michael Jordan? No, I'm just kidding. Now, Craig Hodges can stand up and defend on his own though. But think
No,
about
but
that team
that's
that Kobe took. Kobe took Lamar. He took Paul Gasol, like
yeah.
Meta World Peace. I don't know if he was Ron Artest or Meta World Peace at the
I
time,
think he
but
was meta. I think he started out as Ron, and then he ended up by the time it was over, it was meta. Yeah.
so I think it's varies. You know what I'm saying? Look,
Yeah.
look. Exactly, Mikhail. You got to Google to remember LeBron's teammates.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I know K Love. I knew Kyrie back in Cleveland. Tristan maybe. Yeah. Only because
Okay.
of the Kardashians, but not really because of his
See,
output. But
Kyrie ain't been right since as
yeah,
far as winning, you know what I'm saying, on the winning scale.
that's true.
K Love, he was doing it in Minnesota, but when you come to the Cavs and then LeBron leaves and I was like, K who?
Yeah. 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 No, K. I mean, LeBron is the man, and hey, he already put the word out. He's not missing another playoff run while he in the league. That man
Hey,
is hurt right
gonna be
now.
interesting to see, man. It's gonna be interesting to see. I think that body needs some rest. And I
Yeah.
think he's getting that. And he already invested 1 million in his body. And so does a lot of other athletes too. I do want to see what happens with KD when he comes back for this year coming up too.
Yeah.
That's gonna be interesting. How KD and Kyrie do their thing if team's still together.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Can
Gonna be
James Harden and
interesting.
Joel Embiid bounce back on the Heat?
Oh, the Heat.
Yeah.
Whoa, that would be big. Well, who we get rid of though? I don't know. Now you're gonna make me lose some nice pieces. Or what Nina said, he's not flashy, but he comes for business. Embiid heart isn't always there. I mean, he's been injury prone too, even though he's talented. Giannis is a beast, and I actually had him winning. Yeah, I thought Giannis was gonna win too. Yeah, I agree. She's not upset with the pick.
Okay.
He's skilled. All right. I mean, yeah, Tim Duncan, like you right about that one.
Fundamentals.
Fundamental.
Fundamentals.
Yeah, consistent
Fundamentals.
fundamentals. Yeah, for sure. So we
Absolutely.
appreciate you guys, chiming in and giving us your feedback and your insight on it, because it's not about our opinion. We want to know what the people think. What do the people think? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Exactly, man. It's key. But I love the different varieties that we see that we're seeing right now in the playoffs. Man, I hate that John Morant took that injury. Because man, if he develops a consistent outside jump shot, he's gonna be a man. He's gonna be a force to be reckoned with because they're laying off him right now, and he's still
Mm-hmm.
getting to the cup.
Yeah.
Like
And
he getting to the
he's gonna penetrate, and he's still able to penetrate. If he like, well, that's something that Michael Jordan had to work on too. When
yep.
Michael Jordan first got in the league, it wasn't a consistent jump shot. Like that was something LeBron James had to work on, getting his jump shot together. So, I think he'll continue to improve on those areas that he's not so strong in. I think he's committed to that. I wouldn't be surprised to see him as an MVP candidate one day. I think he's got that type of skill set to be a possible MVP candidate one day. I don't know if it'll be for Memphis. He may need a better cast around him. But I do
Yeah.
see him skilled enough to do that.
Man, Memphis reminds me of those guys you go play with at the park. Like you go with your five, and like
Yeah,
y'all ain't getting off the court. Like it don't
just
even
run the
matter.
court.
Yeah, yeah, we straight street ball in this thing. Like we about to, that's what
Yeah.
Memphis give me. But they're so together. I love their team chemistry. They're just so together, and you don't find that. Nina said Nina said Katie stay angry too much.
I don't know what to say. Like KD, Irvin, I don't know what's going on over there in Brooklyn. They really got to get it together. It's a tough rebound for them. I don't know how the off season is going to play out for them. And how much longer does KD have in him to keep bouncing around from year after year? So I don't know. It's a tough one. But how about, let me ask you the guys about this. What everybody's talking about, the dads, like John Morant's dad and Ball, uh, the dads. We always wonder about or criticize, as we just finished Mother's Day and Father's Day is coming up. These fathers are very present in their sons' lives, and then people are criticizing them for their presence. But yet and still there's a lot of young men in the league like LeBron James himself who never knew their fathers. So why are we criticizing these men for being so proactive and so visible in the lives of their superstar athletes, superstar sons?
Man, people just need something to talk about. People need something to talk about because I think it's very important to have a supportive father in your life, especially a supportive black father in your life that's keeping you on the right path,
Yeah.
making sure you're doing a thing, and they're just proud of their sons. You know what I'm saying? That shows you like the work that you've put in with your child, not just about training them on the court per se, but just pouring into them in life because those guys are well spoken. They're all about the team. Like you don't see them kind of just promoting and showboating themselves. I know I see John Morant always talking about his team. Even the Ball brothers. Like
Yeah.
it's about team, and they just understand when you are privy to knowing that you got something special. I think as a parent, when you know you have something special, I just think it may change your dynamic sometimes of how you handle your kid because
Mm-hmm.
you gotta protect them from other people that's trying to pull at them all the time. So I think you go into protective mode.
No, I agree. I was gonna say I think Ball definitely goes into a protective mode. He's that Papa Bear who's gonna be over there, and if he's not gonna be confident, because there's a borderline, confidence and arrogant, or cocky, however you want to say it, about his son's ability, then who will be? So he's supposed to go out and promote them. And a lot of people were borderline, before his passing, they wasn't so fond of Kobe.
Yep.
because Kobe was really borderline that cocky, arrogant, guy, but he was really confident when she really knew him, and you understand the work he put in, and I mean, as I watched the film about him and the work he put in, hey, he has the right to walk out there saying, I know that I'm going to take this shot. I know I'm going to make this shot, because I outwork you. I've done this shot. I've made this shot, or I've taken this shot multiple times, preparing me for this moment. So I
Yep.
have nothing but respect for that. And Ball, saying that about his son. It's like, we put in the work. We've been dreaming about this moment for a long time. And now we're here and we're going to take advantage of it. So shout out to him for doing that.
Absolutely. And think about this, Bruce Lee, he practiced one kick. It's mastery. Practice one kick.
Yeah.
So it's either, when these kids are training, it's like, all right, they're training on 50 different moves. You haven't perfected one yet.
Yeah.
Master one
Still
thing.
can't make a left hand layup
But you want to be a
or an
Euro
offhand
step.
layup. I'll just say offhand layup, and you weren't about a Euro step and
Yeah,
dribbling
why
through
would
50
Euro step?
cones.
Why would Euro
Hey,
step?
hey, shout out to Brandon Adams. Shout out to you, bro. Appreciate you tuning in. But yeah, T, they doing all those drills and 50 cones, and they can't even make an offhand layup. Like, come on, like, really? All these trainers out there with all these different tools you guys using, and like so old school. Can you jab? Can you jump stop? Can you pump fake?
Nope.
Can you make an offhand layup? Can you make a mid-range jump shot? And then we can worry about all those other things that you're trying to teach them. You know.
Philip has a perspective on ball. He says there's a line. Ball crosses the line where he becomes bad for business sometimes. Hey, they say no PR is bad PR,
Whoop,
Philip. No
whoop.
PR is bad PR. If they ain't talking about you, you ain't doing something right. That's
Right,
what they say.
exactly. Exactly. He keeps his son's name out there, although it may be in a boisterous, or maybe almost offensive way, but he walks into a room with his chest out and saying what his sons can do. And what haven't they done? They've done it. He talked about the youngest not going to college, going overseas, and then coming back. They've done what he said that they were going to do. So I know it's not everybody's boat. I'm not saying that I would do it, but I can't knock him for doing it, and I cannot knock him for being out there.
As like one of his kids, where you're gonna have to understand, like, Dad, you putting a bullseye on my back, right? Because not everybody gunning for you, so I get it. But it's
Yeah,
probably the conversation is like, okay, you either gonna step up or you gonna let the
yeah,
people shoot you down. Which one is
right.
what is it gonna be? They gotta
You
step up
got to
to
get
that
in
plate.
there.
Like,
Yeah,
yo,
you got to
y'all
get
need
in there
to.
and put the work in. That maybe he's encouraging them to say, "Hey, I better get up and keep putting that work in." I mean,
Yep.
but as sons, they can also see. Let's talk about the Richard Williams. Like he had a plan for his daughters, and I'm sure every day they wasn't like, "Oh, we got to go play tennis today." Sometimes they wanted to just be little girls, but he had a vision for them. And so now I'm sure they see the vision he had for them. It has come to fruition. They probably like, "Ooh, dang, he was right. Like, I appreciate you waking me up those days I didn't feel like getting up." Just like being in Cincinnati, I'm sure they probably like, "Thank you, Dad. You've created a totally different life for me and my family. Not just the mom and dad, but now their families are different. Her daughter is different because of the life that she was able to create for her." So, I
Yeah.
mean, we may not always agree, and we can always agree to disagree. Um, but hey, these parents that are active and out there on the forefront, encouraging, don't be abusive. I know it's borderline abusive, but encouraging their kids to go out there and be great.
Yeah.
Go be great.
And think about Del Curry and his wife with Seth and Steph. They just
Yeah.
may have taken a different approach. Like they're not as loud in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? But we don't
Hmm.
know what they tell them people behind closed doors. You know, he
Yeah.
might
Well,
be getting
they.
on them.
Yeah.
He might have been getting on them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They divorced now, so
Yeah,
but I mean they definitely got that shooting from their dad, which he's now superseded what their dad was able to do. But ain't no telling what he's saying in that crowd. I'm sure he's out there talking trash. But then again, maybe he's a player and he knows what it's like, and he may just be sitting there. I believe it's a little bit different when you've lived that life. I think you approach it a little bit differently because he's been a professional. A lot of those guys haven't been, and what you see a lot of times, the parents who've lived that life, they're very much low key in terms of their vocalness, especially while the game is going on and all that type of stuff. They may encourage them in the background, getting in the gym and work. But in the game setting, I think they're a little bit more low key because they've been there. They understand it.
Yep, yep. And see, Philip again, he says that's definitely different styles and preferences. He likes how Clay's dad stays in the background. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You may not hear him. We may not hear him because the media don't get to grab it. But when they get home and behind closed doors, it might be a different story. Because at the end of the day, hey, you can't be making me look bad.
but Philip, to what Philip said, that's a testament to what I just said.
Yep,
Clay's dad played in the league. He
yep,
was a professional. So again, that's another Clay dad and Steph dad. Like those guys are not vocal like that, like Ball. But I'm sure behind closed doors, I'm sure he got an earful about that's how he got to that level. What's Alfred Tito? His dad played in the league as
yep.
well. So
Yeah.
yeah, so those fathers, those parents, a little bit different. A little bit different.
So
Off the court, you're gonna get an earful, but when the game is going on, they're a little bit laid back.
So can you imagine Michael Jordan's son? Like, he went to UCF and like you Michael Jordan's son, so we automatically think you about to come wreck shop. Like, you know
Right.
what I'm saying?
That's too much pressure. Like that's just too much. I would have wanted my son to play golf. Like that's just too much pressure. Like that's crazy. Like you already, oh, I got Michael Jordan's son on my team. Like that's a lot of pressure to be under. I don't think. I mean, he was just okay. Like both of them that played, they were
Yeah.
just okay. It was just mad pressure to try to fill their dad's shoes. I don't even think I would have picked up the ball. I would just play something else.
do you think Bronny feels that type of pressure? LeBron's son.
I'm sure he does. I mean, fortunately, he's actually living up to it. I watched him play, and that young man can play. He can play. Yeah. Who's Mikael? That boy's son was shot out.
He talking about Michael Jordan's son.
Oh yeah, see, they probably had so much money, you know. I'm sure it was like crazy, and then it's just crazy. But LeBron's more of a hands-on father. He didn't have his father, so I'm sure he's that. I watched him at the games when they show the videos. LeBron is like about to be on the court coaching, like he's really into the game. So
Yeah.
he's a little bit different. But I'm sure that's because he didn't have a dad
Yeah.
yelling and screaming for him at his game, so he wants to be that presence for his son. So
Hey, and speaking of fathers, I'm gonna bring up a father right now. He has two daughters and just had little T squared, his junior, Travis Daniels. Welcome to the show.
What's up? What's up?
hey,
How
what's
you
going
doing?
on? How you doing, Travis?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
I'm great, excited to see you here.
Yeah, well,
Ooh, I
I'm
see
excited to
that
be
dolphin in the
seen.
back. Hey, I see
Huh?
that dolphin in the back. That
Yeah,
21 dolphin in
got the 2-1.
the back, baby. So, Travis, tell the audience who Travis Daniels is.
Yeah, so basically, I'm a kid from Hollywood, Florida, and I, I attended South Broward High School, went to LSU, won national championship. Played football, basketball, was a three-sport star, played track. So Travis is a really, I guess, kind of complicated or really diverse personality. Yeah, that's pretty much sums it up.
Well, Travis, tell us, like, okay, so we know the LSU national championship. You played for the Dolphins. You had a run with the Dolphins. So tell us, what is Travis now? Who is Travis now in terms of crossing over from that athletic field?
Yeah, so I'm married now. I have three kids, two daughters and a son. I started a photography company back in like 2013, 14, somewhere around that time. I'm always looking for new things to get into. I just started playing golf. I still got my Tiger Woods shirt on from earlier today, kicking butt. You know, but yeah, I just love competing in any aspect that I can, whether it's photography and trying to be the best photographer out, or being the best photographer that I can be personally. And even when it comes to playing golf, like one of my buddies I play with often named Ryan, he's been playing for like 8 years. I've been playing for like 7 months, and every time we go out to play, he killing me. But I am texting them like, today is the day.
You
You know, so
got to
you know
believe in yourself. It's all about how you believe. What you believe you could do. You know.
exactly.
So, tell the audience about like any obstacles you had growing up, from where we're from, Hollywood, with all the ages,
Yeah.
about where we're from, and just making it to the top of the top, like coming from our city and then making it. What were the odds that were stacked against you?
Yeah, so I had a lot of odds stacked up against me. Just like you say, being from Hollywood, Florida. Like a lot of people, when they come to South Florida, they think about Miami only, and when they think about like tough areas, they think more about Miami because it's a bigger city. But right in Hollywood, like it's like 12, 13 blocks. There's a lot of things that's happening on a day-to-day basis that people overlook, but we live in there, we experience it on a daily, so having so many people around you selling drugs, doing drugs, going to jail, uh, friends cutting school, smoking weed, doing all of those things that you see on a daily basis, so growing up, it was kind of tough in a sense, but for some reason I always just had a belief in myself that you can be who you are and you don't have to follow anybody
Mm.
else, and to like fit in. I remember early on when the guys started like smoking weed and doing things like that, we'd be driving in the car at like 13, 12. Some of us could get the car from our parents and drive around, and everybody be passing the weed around. And I always would be like, I'm cool, and sometimes they'll be like, oh man, it ain't cool, you ain't cool, it ain't, it's not this or that. But I really didn't care what they thought about it. I would just tell them, if I don't do it, it's just more for you.
Mm. That's
you
that
know
self-confidence, that self-esteem, and not worrying about fitting in. I think that's something that our young people really truly struggle with today. A lot of them want to fit in and want to be liked, and they end up following the wrong crowd, and it's being detrimental to their success and to their progress.
Yeah, yeah, it's really huge, and with social media, it's even magnifying things more because you're able to see more. You see more people with the nicer clothes and money, and presenting this lifestyle that's don't seem like it's really obtainable, but you really want it, and for some reason, I just had it built in me to just focus on what I'm doing, enjoying just hanging out with my friends and playing different sports with them, and really not being caught up with any other thing. Like I never looked at anybody in any type of way for what they did. Just if that's what you want to do, it's fine. But me, I'm just gonna go and do this. When we was like in elementary school, playing little league, going into middle, those decisions started to be made early. You was either going to practice or you was going on a corner. It was one or the other, you know. And me seeing police officers chasing people, slamming them on the ground, putting them in the back of the squad cars, and at a younger age, guys leaving for like 21 days, going to the detention center, and hearing the stories about what's happening inside of there, it just never really seemed like a lifestyle that I thought was good for myself, and I just did everything that I can to stay away from it. And sports helped that out because after football it was basketball, after basketball was the track, then you back again to
There you
football.
go.
Yeah. So talk to us about your experience of playing with. You played with one of the best college coaches in the game, Nick Saban.
Yeah.
How was that experience at LSU? Like the system he ran. Like talk to us about that.
Yeah, so it was really tough, but it was really um, kind of to the standard of what I was already used to. One thing that I loved about growing up the way that we did and playing for Northeast Optimists was each year you would pretty much have a different set of coaches as you progress from the 90-pound to the 105 to the 120. The coaches were not following you through the phases. So what was great about that was we was able to get coached by a bunch of different personalities, where you may be the star on the 95, but when you come up to the big boys, to the 120, those coaches, they don't care nothing about that, and they're going to coach you tough as if you never scored a touchdown or did anything before. So that precedent right there was helped me out a lot. When I got to LSU, I mean, my coaches, Coach Antonio Williams, Coach Buddy Brown, and a list of others, Coach Purcell. I mean, I can go on and on. But um, they told me, that Coach Saban, he's a tough guy. He's not a pushover. So you really have to have your mind right. So when I met Coach Saban, he like 5'7", something like that. This little guy. So I'm thinking in my mind like he can't be that tough. But man, when I got to LSU, oh my God, he was like all of those coaches in one. So that was something to see. But I would tell you this: the guys on my team that struggled with him, I feel like those guys were like baby. They probably had the same coach all the way through, or
Mhm.
everybody just babysat them all the way up. So now when you get with a guy like Coach Saban that's demanding excellence from you, that's demanding you be on time, know your assignment, no mental errors. I mean, having somebody like that, to them, it really broke them. But I would say that Coach Saban has really helped me out, not only in the game of football, but in the game of life, because he always have you held accountable. He always looking for the best out of you. You know, he teaches you early on how to deal with ups and downs in the game of football, the game of basketball, the game of life. You're gonna always deal with them, right? So whenever you do have a good game, you got 24 hours to be on it, and then you got to get back to ground zero and start working because the next person coming up is going to be gunning for you.
Mhm.
So just taking a lot of those lessons that I learned from him and applying them into just my everyday life, it helps out. And I mean, I still think him to this day, even though I don't speak to him as much, but in my mind, I'm always going back to those moments.
And then you played for him at Miami as a Dolphins. You got drafted by him.
Yeah.
Was he different in the league from LSU to the league?
Nah, he was no different, and he really caught the NFL guys by surprise. It was something that was like so small that we thought was so small was such a huge thing in the NFL. So before practice in college, when it's time to warm up, everybody get like on the sideline. You have groups, you jog across the field, and they have you doing different things, high knees, karaoke, just trying to get yourself loose. And then you would go into like offense on one side, defense on the opposite side. You get in your lines and you start stretching. When we run across the field, we run across the field fully padded, helmet, shoulder pads on. But in the NFL, those guys wasn't used to none of that.
Mm.
So I mean, some of the guys made such a huge deal about running across the field with the helmets on, and I was surprised. I was like y'all don't do that. Like we the only one that do that. The different like guys from different colleges, nobody was doing anything like that.
Mm.
So he kept everything the same. His approach, how he talked to you, he didn't care who it was. You could be a Hall of Famer, you could have been to 5 Pro Bowls, it didn't matter. He wants you to do it like this. This is the way that we're gonna do it. I don't care nothing about what you did last time. I know this work. So he was the exact same. So for
So
me, it
what
was
I hear a lot of you saying accountability, discipline and accountability. He preached that discipline and accountability.
he preach it. When I tell you, in 2003, when we won the national championship, we had a really talented team. But what made us win was that everybody was very disciplined. When I was playing my cover one man-to-man matchups, I knew that I could not get beat on a deep ball, so I wasn't gonna get that up. Right? He always tell us every coverage have a weakness, so we're not gonna get beat where the defense say we cannot get beat. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
supposed to take away the inside's taken away. If they catch that out, we're gonna compete on enough of them that we'll break them up. They're gonna catch some because they're on scholarship too. But the odds are gonna be with us if we do it this way, you know. And everybody, I mean, the team bought into it. You could feel it. Like I know I don't have to try to jump that route because I know that guy gonna be there. I'm gonna
Mm.
stand the third. When guys
Yeah.
give up plays, it's because they're trying to compensate for something else, somebody
Yeah.
else. They think somebody's not going to be there, and then they dive on bite on that out route, and then the dude turn it up, and now the ESPN theme song is playing on your head. Uh, Yeah, we had to limit that.
You know, highlights. They got the highlights going.
They got them going, you know. So
Brandon said that's the Nick Saban way. That's the Nick Saban way.
yes, yeah. It is the Nick Saban way, man. And when I tell you, not only do he get that out of the players, but the coaches, the people that cook the food, the 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 bus driver, everybody is under the same type of pressure. That food ain't cooked right, he on them.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that bus arrived late, he on them too. The cops don't get there on time to take us to the airport, he on them. You know, so everybody is held accountable. You know,
Wow.
at all times. I mean, he don't let up at all, like at all. From warm ups, so we had this thing called fourth quarter program. So fourth quarter program is like a conditioning during the springtime. First time you go in there, you see in an indoor facility, they got tons of garbage cans all around them, looking like what's going on in here, you know? So since you're in the indoor, there's enough like wall for everybody to kind of like lean against and like do leg swings and everything like that. If he catch you like half doing it, we starting the whole thing over, you know?
Oh my
So
goodness.
Cause Tonio say he glad you eventually listen.
yeah, hey man, Coach Yodim, when I tell you, Coach Yodim, they really prepared me for what I was getting into. I didn't
That's
understand
good.
it at the time, right? Because we didn't have nothing to really to gauge it by. We knew that Coach Tonio and everybody's going to coach you tough. But when I got to LSU and I was able to see how Coach Saban sometimes was impacting certain guys, I always resorted back to what I already been through, right? So let's say if you miss a tackle or something, right? Saban, he gonna go off. You're soft. You don't want to tackle nobody. I mean, he going in on you. Me, all I hear if he say anything to me like that is make the tackle. All those other words, I don't hear nothing. So I'm always feeling the way I feel. Like right now, how you feel right now. This is how I feel out there on that field in front of 100,000, the TV on. You know, we on national televised game. I don't feel nothing. If anything happened and he start that talking to me or anybody else, all I hear is make the play.
Yeah.
All those other
Yeah.
words is just crowd noise.
Yeah, I tell players all the time, stop taking it personal.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's really, for me, I'm a basketball, make the shot, play
Yeah.
some defense,
Yes.
run the play like I said, it was not a personal attack, you
No.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's never personal attack because at the end of the day, we're all here for one reason, and that's to win and produce and do our very best. The better we do individually, everybody does collectively. You know, coaches get
Yes.
raises, we get drafted, or more guys on the team have opportunity. We win championships. We go to bowl games. You know, it just make everything better for everybody. So, yeah, you should never take it personal.
Yeah.
So tell us how, because it sounds like Saban prepared you for business too, but talk to us about how the NFL prepared you for business because it does turn into business, right? I know
Yeah,
college is business too, but how did the NFL prepare you for business?
yeah. So the preparation started early on. It started with Coach Saban, right? Just by making us understand about like being disciplined, carrying out assignments. When I get into the NFL, now we're on a real big scale. Now everything count. If you come to meetings late, that's a fine. If you wearing the wrong color cleats, like they have a thing where if you look when you look at the NFL games, you're gonna see there are white shoe teams, there are black shoe teams, right? So if you're a white shoe team like the Dolphins, 90% of the shoe is going to be white. So you always see white cleats and a little bit of orange.
Mm,
If you were to say, you know what, this game I'm going all orange, this game I'm going all black, it's like $5,000 the first time you do that,
mm,
and it increases after that, you know.
wow.
But um the NFL really taught me about uh, being more disciplined, understanding that it takes a lot of people to create the product on the field. Nothing in that game is all about one person,
Mm,
right? You have to rely on nose guards. You have to rely on the safeties, the corners, the coaches, the trainers, and then when you take it away from the field, you having to rely on management, nutrition, your strength and conditioning coaches, right? So the NFL just more um, fueled the fire of making sure you do things the right way, making sure you treat people the right way,
Mhm.
because you just never know how those things are gonna come back on you when once you move on. So when I was playing, I had situations where I really didn't want to be with a certain team at a certain time because of new coaches and whatever. But I never really wanted to express it or make things uncomfortable for myself or anybody else, because you just never know like what that situation going to turn into later,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah.
And it was crazy because one story is that we had this GA. His name was Adam Gates, right?
Wow.
So Adam Gates was when I got to LSU. When I was flying town, he had to come pick me up from the airport, right? Pick me up from the airport, bring me back to school. He right had to pick up some other guys, bring me back to school, whatever. I always had had a friendly relationship with him. Just a hey, how you doing? Just small talk here and there. Now I get into the league. I see Adam Gates. He's with the Lions. I see him. Before the game, after the game, we always talk to each other and keep going. Next thing you know, he's in Denver. Next thing you know, he's the head coach for the Miami Dolphins. This is a person that was like on the totem pole. He's all the way to the
At the
bottom, right?
yeah.
And Adam brought me in multiple times, talking to the rookies, doing other things like that. That had I had a bad rapport with him, he would have never did that for me,
Wow.
you know.
Yeah.
And he was somebody that wasn't necessarily top rank at LSU. He's a GA. He's just drawing up the plays for the scout team, you
Wow.
know. So that business makes you really look at everybody and look at them for like who they are, not what they do. Everybody is just in here for the same reason. No matter what role they're playing, everybody's role is equally important.
Man.
That's big. That's major, man. I hope somebody picked that message because you just dropped a gem for people to realize that you treat everyone with respect and appreciation because you just never know how that can come back full circle. That's big.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Like right now, I go play golf. I just started playing something not like great or anything, but I see the guys out there cutting the lawn. Anytime they are in my vicinity, I go talk to them. Hey, how you doing? Whatever, whatever. Talk to them about the grass, like the greens. Just trying to understand their job because a lot of times people overlook them, and they probably don't get much interaction with anybody outside of the people that
Mm-hmm.
they're with, and you just never know how one conversation that you have with somebody can really like impact their day, their week, and uh,
Yeah.
make a positive change for them.
Travis,
That's
tell
big.
us what birthed Travis Daniels photography. NFL player, was photography on your mind growing up? What birthed the idea?
Yeah, so long story short and kind of long, um, I'm playing in Kansas City, and this is like my 6th year in the league, and my mind would be turning sometimes like, what do you want to do after you play? Coach Saban already told me whenever you finish in the league, if you want to come coach, hit me up, So I always got that in the bag. But I wanted to see if I could do something completely different, you know,
Mm.
to go all the way against the grain. So I'm in Kansas City. I'm getting my ankles worked on. I love looking at photos and magazines and stuff like that, and I see one of the doctors coming to the training room to talk to the head guy, right? So as he walk in there, looking at him, like, man, he a older gentleman, and he make a pretty good living, and he not killing himself to make the money, right? So I'm like, dang, I don't know how much longer I want to do this. I don't know how much longer I can do this. Like, dang, what I'm gonna do once I finish, right? At the time, I had a magazine in my hand, and I was looking at the picture, and I was like, you know what? I wonder if I can create a photo that somebody will like the way I like this photo, right? So after that day, I go up to our head photographer. His name's Steve Sanders, right? So now back to the NFL. The NFL is such a big business and they do everything so great. Anything you could want to get into, they have basically like the best marketing, the best accountants, lawyers, doctors, any profession you want to get in, you can link into the some of the top people in the prospective fields, right? So I go talk to Steve, like, hey, Steve, man, I really like photos. Think I might want to, learn how to take them better, become like a photographer. So I was like, I got a camera, sure, team. So I bring the camera in the next day, and it's just a little basic camera, like probably like $400 joint from Best Buy, right? So he like, well, if you want to take pictures like this, you need these type things, right? So I'm like looking at the lenses, and I go back to the house and Google it, and I'm like, dang, like this thing costs 6,000, 11,000 for a lens. And something about it, it just kept drawing me in. So every day after practice for like basically almost like 2 years, I would meet with him after everybody gone. I'm meeting with him for like an hour. He's teaching me about like ISO, shutter speed, and how all of these things work. So at first, it was pretty tough because I'm like, dang, so numbers equal pictures, right? So he like, yeah. I'm like, oh man, I ain't never gonna get this. How does make numbers make a picture? Because the camera is not automatic. Like your iPhone, you just click it and the camera take the picture and tell you what it is. And
Mhm.
these cameras that we're using, you got to tell the camera how light it is outside, how dark it is, what color the person clothes are wearing, what's the skin tone. How do you balance the skin tones in all of the different scenarios? Because when you're outside, not only do you got the person in the clothes, you got the street, you got the trees, you got the water, birds,
Mm.
you know. So you got to really pull that picture together. So after a couple weeks or months, actually, meeting with him, we started going like downtown Kansas City to different areas, taking pictures of like flowers, whatever. And then it was like, okay, take a picture of like this person. They don't know I'm taking a picture of them. They like cross the street, and I gotta like take it quick, right? Because they might leave. But that was training me to like shoot fast, like understand the camera, get the settings down right. This way I can be really efficient. So it started that way. And once I retired, my last game, I knew it was my last game. Like, I prayed before every game, and I just prayed like, God, if you get me out the field the way I walked onto it, I'm not coming back. You know.
Mm.
And after that game, it was two fingers up. Let's get the camera. Let's go.
Wow. Uh,
You know.
Man, that's awesome, Travis. That's an awesome story. Um, Discipline. I just reading Mr. Pender's comment. We go back to discipline, though. Even you got to have discipline in your photography business as well. And being consistent with learning all those things that you did and going out and developing those pictures and creating that memory for people.
Yeah. So photography and football go hand in hand, right? In football, in all sport, when you first get to, let's say, off-season workouts or anything like that, if you have a conditioning test at the end of it, on that first day, if they made you do it, 90% of the team will fail the test, right? So we have to go through the process. We got to lift the weights. We got to run the sprints and the long distances, the short distance, like all of those things to get to the point where when it's time to do the conditioning test, you should be able to ace it if you've been doing your job.
Mm,
When I first started taking photos, the photos looked like trash, like it was terrible, like really
mhm,
bad. But I knew if I just stick to the process and keep training myself, keep looking at images, keep studying it, by the time 6 months, 7 months, 8 months are gonna go by, I cannot be the same camera person as I was on day one. So having that understanding helped me out a lot when it came to photographing weddings. Football really came into play, right? Because in a football game, you deal with ups and downs, right? Those ups and downs on in photography could be the client love the photos or the client don't really like the photos, right? Because somebody love it, do you start feeling like you the man and you could just walk around your chest out? right?
Mhm.
If they say, "Oh, I really didn't like this photo as much," do you like go in the dumps and want to put your camera up and never use it again? You know, so for me, when somebody love the photos or they give me really good remarks back from them, it's like, okay, I appreciate it, but now they're watching, so now it's time to go deeper, really get
Mhm.
in there. You got everybody looking now. Let's turn it up. If somebody say that they don't like them as much, now it's like, okay, let me assess the situation. Let me look at the picture. Did I pose them wrong? Did I use the right lighting? Was my shutter speed off? Like, is does the camera have like some shaking? I mean, the picture is not all the way tack sharp. Did I shoot it from a bad angle? You know,
Okay.
so I'm never feeling up or down. I just feel the same all the time you know
Exactly.
um, in football you have to deal with a lot of sudden changes, right? So me playing defense, the offense could be driving the ball down and it look like they're doing great and then they fumble,
Mm.
right? As a defensive person, I can't go, oh man, they done did it again, right? What I have to do is say, okay, what's the situation? They're right here on the 20-yard line, they can't get in, we got to
Yeah.
give them three. If they far out, we can't let them get more than one first down. We got to make them punt or attempt the long field goal. On the wedding day, been down here in South Florida, right? It could be nice and sunny outside, but then it start raining. What you gonna do? Your first game plan is not happening no more. You gotta keep it going,
Shift.
and
Yeah.
you gotta transition and make the client not feel any way about it. You know
Mhm.
that comes to the scouting, right? So in football, I would scout Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, first and second down, third and 2 to 6, 7 to 10, 10 plus, right? I scout the venues that I'm going to shoot in. So before I get there, I already got a game plan down. I know every shot I'm going to take, where I'm going to take them at. I'm always ready to deviate if it happens, but I go in there with a solid plan, you know? Even the couples, I have to study the couples because everything is not going to work on everybody. Sometimes the guy is a lot taller than the girl, sometimes they're the same height, sometimes she's taller than them. How do you manage those situations? If the guy's shorter, you can't put a stool and tell him to stand on it, hurt his feelings. You
Yeah.
gotta understand like how to stagger people so that things could kind of work in your favor. And all of those things I learned from
Football.
football, even working in the team, right? So when I go photograph weddings or photo shoots, I don't do it by myself. I don't want to do it by myself. So I have a team that are with me, knowing how to work with them is monumental, right? To have team success, right? You can't have the quarterback on one page and the receiver on a different page, right? Everybody got to be on the same page because when I'm moving around, I need lights in certain spots, so it's not gonna work out,
Mhm.
So being able to delegate those different tasks to everybody help us out a lot. And when it comes to business world, I don't understand what like a CFO is or all of those kind of terms, but I know what a head coach general manager does, which is me. My assistants will be like my coordinators, and then we got our production team that are like our strength coaches that are like sexing up the players and sexing up the photos to make them pop even more,
Man, hey, you got the craft
Sports.
down pat, bro. Like, yo, you got your craft down, man. And you were the first active player to shoot the Pro Bowl, right?
Yeah. So yes, I was the first active player to be able to shoot Pro Bowl, which was really cool because it didn't start out initially that way. So I'm going into, I guess, my last season that I'm going to play. The Atlanta Falcons are doing really good. At the time, I owned a barbershop in Atlanta called Cuts Remix. So the Falcons was doing really good. They had like a bye that first week, or they were just going to have a home game, that first home game. So um, at first, when I brought the idea of me photographing anything for the NFL, I went to our player development, this guy named BJ Stabler, which is now at Alabama. Um, and I told him, yo, I want to shoot the Super Bowl. So they like, man, you can't shoot the Super Bowl. I'm like, why not? There's no other player in the league asking to do that, right?
Yeah.
You got a big field. You just could just they could just put me in one spot and tell me I can't move, and I'll be cool with it, right? So for whatever reason, Super Bowl didn't work. So I was like, well, what about playoff game? The Falcons, so I can go to the barbershop and can go to the game. At first, that was greenlit. They's like, yeah, it can work out. So I'm like, cool, let's do it. As it got closer to the game, they pulled back because they said the word got to me saying that they didn't want to have a player on the sideline. He might be a distraction. So I was thinking, so I said, all right, cool. Well, how about Pro Bowl? Nobody don't care about that. You know, who cares who win the game and who distracted anybody? It doesn't matter. And the NFL, everybody was like, yeah, that can work. So that opportunity came because um, I wasn't willing to take no for an answer. Like some
Persistent.
way, somehow, y'all about to put me on this sideline at somebody's something this year, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Not, because I already knew going into it, I wasn't gonna play no more, you know? So
Yeah.
I need to do it like right now because it's really hard for those phones to get answered sometime when you're not in the building.
Talk to
So I
Mm-hmm.
me.
need to make all of these plans. I need to execute this plan before I get out of here. And on my way out, now I can get all these other phone numbers from everybody else, and then I can kind of work my way around it from that point.
The game plan. Man, had the plan.
Yeah,
Had the
man.
plan. He had the crossover plan all together. But I
Yeah,
mean, one of the biggest thing I took from your whole story, Travis, is that this game of football and just sports in general has really been instrumental in the man that you are today, the photographer that you are today, just the whole person that you are in terms of your discipline, your work ethic, your willingness to transition or cross over into something new, to challenge yourself to something new, and to not just be one dimensional, to not be able to accept a no and that I can't do it. So that's amazing. I tell everybody, if you don't do anything, whether your child is the star player or not, I believe being around sports and the team camaraderie that's built, and if you're in the under the right tutelage of in terms of coaches that's teaching discipline and accountability, it will carry your child beyond the sports.
yes,
They may not get a scholarship, but it'll
right.
take them into the business world, into the college, world, into the workspace. Is instrumental in the lives of those who played sports. Man, it's really big.
Yeah, it is because there is no other ways in life that you're going to deal with as many ups and downs at such a young age for such a long period of time, whether it's from 8 years old to 18, or if you keep going after that, right? Because you got people catch a pass on you, they block your shot, they steal your ball, you know, those are negative situations, and you got to bounce right back and get back focused and lock in. And
Hmm.
if people would more do that once they transition out, they'll really see that they are able to have the same type of success, right? I knew that once I finished playing and I started photography, I knew it was gonna go because I felt like if I made it to the NFL, to the highest of in this profession,
Yeah.
then why can't I do it with this? All I got to do is apply the same things that it took. When I listen to Tom Brady or Warren Buffett or anybody, Floyd Mayweather, right? They all doing different things, but it's always those intangible things that are always the same, and they just applying it to whatever it is that they're doing. Like still to this day, right? We have I photographed maybe probably like, I don't know, 300 weddings more, something like that
Mm.
now. And I still study photography like I never did it before. I still walk in the mall and I see Polo ads or Gap ads, and I take pictures of it. When I look at the photos, I'm like measuring out like type of lens they was using because of how the photo looked. Like what
Hmm.
height are they shooting from, to get it. This picture for it to look like this, he had to be about this many yards away from the person. They had to be probably at this angle. The camera had to be tilt this way, that way. So I'm like analyzing the whole thing. Like,
Studying the craft.
yeah, it's like nonstop.
Well, Travis, we're getting down to the end of our session. I mean, I hate that. I feel like we can go on forever. You're just really I mean, I love talking to you. But we got what we call the hot cross zone. It's like a 30-second 5 questions, and we want to see what your quick responses are to these questions. You ready?
Yeah, yeah.
All
Right.
right. So question number one, what's your favorite food?
My favorite food is spaghetti.
Spaghetti. All right. Dessert or no dessert?
Dessert.
Dessert. All right. You like to well, I mean, this is like basketball related, but let's say this. I'm gonna change it for football. You like man coverage or you like zone coverage?
Man, I'm gonna
Oh,
lock
you want to
up.
lock it down.
Yeah. Oh, I got a mean jump shot too now.
Uh,
Yeah.
all right. You did say you played basketball, you ran track. I
Yeah.
feel you.
No,
So
no
if you play,
JV. No
oh,
JV. Yeah. Freshman varsity. Dropping
all
over
right.
averaging over
So
a dub, you know?
if we play basketball, you like to play fast game or you like to play a slow game?
Fast.
You want to play
Fast. I want to
fast.
get I want
See,
to get up and down the court. I can handle the one, pass it off and throw it up. I'm going to get it.
oh man, look, see, when we talked about that confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
All
no,
right.
no, this is real. Takara, she can tell you. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is real stuff.
All right. So football related, you picking the quarterback or the linebacker? Which one you think is most instrumental?
I'm going to go with the quarterback, right? Because the quarterback has to manage the game in its entirety. The linebacker, he's important, but he can mess up on a number of plays and be covered by linemen, safeties, the
Mm,
nickelbacks. But that quarterback, if he fumbling the snap, there's nobody else that can help him out. If
yeah,
he
yeah, yeah,
misreading that coverage and not seeing that safety come, it could be detrimental to that receiver going across the middle, or it's going to be a pick.
yeah, yeah.
So would
That's
you
fair.
pick a point guard or a post player?
Would I pick a point guard or a post player?
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the post player if it's Shaq.
Oh, he
If
caught me
it's
by
Shaq,
surprise.
If it's
right?
Shaq,
If it's
yeah,
Shaq.
but you can have Shaq, Travis. But who's gonna get Shaq the ball? Shaq not a
Well,
Giannis. He's not gonna
yeah, but
dribble.
see the awesome thing, the great thing about basketball, even if your point guard is not doing it up, he can get it to the shooting guard. The shooting guard can get it to the post. You know, in football, the quarterback is the only person that got that ball in his
His
hand that
head.
able to
Get it to
facilitate it to
anybody. Right.
everybody else.
Right.
So the point guard could get covered up a little bit.
All right. All right. So the last question is, who will be the surprise NFL team this upcoming season?
The surprise, I'm gonna say the Miami Dolphins,
Let's
right?
go.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
go.
gonna go with the Dolphins because them having change of coaches and a lot of changes going around on the team. Them bringing Cheetah and other guys in from the various teams. I think that Miami is going to be a team to really look out for. I think Tua is definitely going to do really good this year. They definitely surrounded him with some weapons. Got some guys that's going to be able to protect them better this year than I think last year. And I forget the running back that his name, but they got some weapons. And Cheetah just gonna open it up, And they got that tight end Gasecki, something like that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, he's like
I
a
like him.
Kelsey,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
like him.
So
I
I
mean,
like.
hey, look, I hope they are doing the same thing that my Miami Heat did. So the Miami Heat made some moves in the off season last year, and look at us now. So
Yeah,
I hope my Dolphins are doing the same thing so that we can be in that playoff run come that time next season.
yeah. That'd be great. That'd be great for the city for sure.
For
They got
sure.
the
All
F1
that
track
money
and
they put
everything.
into, yeah, all that money they put into the whole area. So I hope we can do something to
Yeah,
bring the people out.
yeah. We got like two Super Bowls coming here within like the next 10 years. So
Oh man, see what I'm
hopefully the
saying?
Dolphins could be in the first one to
In
come up.
one, exactly.
Yeah. So
But Travis,
Travis, tell the people how they can meet, how they can. I'm sorry, go ahead. T. You
no, go
can
ahead. Go ahead. I
tell
was
the
about
people
to.
how they can follow you. You got social media, how they can get your photography. Go ahead and promote that business.
Yeah, so you can reach out to me on Instagram at Travis Daniels Photography, Facebook Travis Daniels Photography, website Travis Daniels Photography. I wanted to keep it like super clean and super easy for everybody to just easily navigate through the different social media platforms. But yeah, man, definitely come follow us, come check us out. If you're getting married, know somebody getting married, or you just need professional shots, all kind of photos. I could definitely help you out with those. So yeah, check us out, Travis Danes Photography.
And you'll be
Quality
doing
is key.
some upcoming coaching courses as far as photography is concerned, correct?
Yeah, yep. So we're starting this series called the Playbook Series, and basically it's a play on photography and football together. We just completed our first posing series, and we're gonna have some more coming up fairly soon. That was really awesome to do it. I had a couple people reaching out to me about classes before, and it was just like, I don't know. And then I just tried it out, and man, it was great. So I really had a good time with it. So I'm going to have more classes. I'm going to do some stuff at this Canon showcase coming up in New York, and I'm going to do some teaching in Baltimore, like in November or something like that. So yeah, we're
That's
just
all.
moving.
Awesome, man. We definitely appreciate your time. Thanks for coming in, blessing our audience, man. Success along the way. I already know you're gonna do it because I used to cross you over, so that's how you got here.
Oh, yo, let me tell you a quick story though. So, so she definitely legit, right? So we was kids, and we all played sports, just playing basketball and stuff. And I remember one time asking her, like, man, like, why you play basketball? Like, it's not even like a girls' NBA. And
Yeah,
she was like, well, when we get bigger, you just never know, right? And it
yeah,
was crazy to see that, WNBA came,
yeah,
boom,
Yeah.
then she go play in the WNBA. So that was like crazy. And for us to be cousins and to have watch each other like progress in our respective fields, and you went to Texas A&M and is killed it and crushed it in the legends, man. That was like so big time, like so proud, like telling everybody about my cousin, like, look what she did, you know what I'm saying? So
same, same. Hey,
to
And we appreciate it. It's
Dion,
awesome.
Dion was Child's idol, man. He was Dion, and then he was Peter Ward
Oh,
in high school,
oh
bro.
yeah, oh yeah, so Coach Tony, yo, I see him chiming in, like, so when I played at Northeast, I would score touchdowns. I'm talking about, I look like Dion in the flesh, hand behind the head,
hey,
ball
oh,
out.
you.
I was like that. Coach Antonio, when I got to high school, don't bring that over here, son. I was like, man, hey man, what am I supposed to do? I got to do
Just
something when
shut
I
it
score.
down.
Yeah, he shut it down. You know, but yeah, it was a good time. It was a good
Man,
Yeah.
time.
that's awesome. And blessings to you, Travis. I mean, great. You seem like a great man, and I mean, I'm just so impressed from talking with you tonight, and continue to do great things. And I'm looking for. Hey, I want to be looking out for some of that teaching, some of that photography. So
Yeah,
definitely
come on.
appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
All
All right,
right, man.
Trav.
You take care.
All right,
All
thanks.
right.
All right,
All right.
man. Carla, listen, straight gems, man.
Yeah.
Straight gems.
Yeah, that's
Straight.
another amazing guest tonight. And people didn't know. Some people didn't know you guys are related. That's your
Yeah,
cousin.
yeah,
So
man.
yeah,
It was battles, man. You know what? Travis was athletic. He's long. You know what I'm saying? He gonna push you. Like he's gonna push you. That same confidence that you see, like he gonna straight up push you. He gonna talk his trash. It's
yeah.
subtle, but like you don't want to look crazy. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta bring your A game.
Gotta bring your A game. Yeah,
Gotta
that's.
bring
I
your A.
mean, I could tell that sports has truly impacted his life.
Yep.
And helped develop him into the man that he is and the businessman that he is.
Yep.
I just wish that more people would really, really buy into the things that he was saying. Like
Yeah.
buy into what the coach is teaching. That's how the team is going to be successful. Buy into that discipline. I mean, just amazing. And shout out to Coach Tonio. Like he's
Coach
coached some of
Joe.
these great athletes, and it's a great job for the community. Hollywood, hey, shout out to the city of Hollywood. Produce some great people, some great athletes.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we thank you guys for joining us, man. Your support is always, always
And
unwavering.
let's tell them about the YouTube so they can go ahead and like and subscribe.
Oh yes, look us up on YouTube, the crossover. You look that up. We're on there, man. Join it, subscribe, like, share, comment. You can find our Facebook page, the Crossover Podcast. Follow us, share with a friend. We promise to keep bringing you guys guests that provide value. We're gonna keep bringing the value. You know what we do.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Hey, like we always end with, use the game. Don't let the game use you. Until next time, y'all be blessed.
Be good.